Hey guys, what's going on? Kyle here with the Car Guys. I've been getting a lot of requests about this deck, and I went to the one specific person that knows all about this deck, and that is Tweety. What's going on, Tweety?
It was good. It was good. We got the blue eyes here with us today.
That's what's up. I'm excited to, actually showcase this deck. I know you've been playtesting with a lot of people and doing that work about it,
Yeah.
and I'm excited just to show the world like your knowledge of the deck because I know that you guys have been testing it since pretty much it got announced to be coming out, right?
Yep.
That's pretty awesome. Well, first off, well, why Blue Eyes?
Uh, best, one of the best characters in the game, Kaiba. Just nostalgic, and because of the fact that like the whole deck got this crazy support that just some at first it didn't look like it was going to be that strong, but then like when you read the cards, like they actually do a lot of things. So I really like the interactions that they had, and sad that we didn't get all the stuff like alternative and chaos max. But when we do get that, this deck is evolved even more. So
That's what's up. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and transition right here into the deck here. I got it laid out just like you had it, so you can go along with the deck and
yeah.
just explain your choices.
Okay, so I just go through the deck and then I'll explain like as I go. So we have the three blue eyes, white dragon. Just need to play three actually because there's so many times where you grab it back with your stone, or you need to tribute off the spirit dragon of white that the next three of in the deck. So when you can do lots of battle phase tricks and stuff with these cards. Then we have after the three dragon spirit of white, we have three sage with eyes of blue. It's the best, and like I think the only spellcaster tuner of the eyes of blue that you should play, because maiden I think takes just too much setup. The master doesn't like shuffling when targeting a tuner in your grave and adding it to your hand doesn't do anything really. Like the tuners don't do as much as besides like synchro and a graveyard effect. So there's no need to have tuners in your hand, and that's the only reason why I play Sage. All the other ones are kind of mediocre in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
We play one Whitestone. You just another tuner. All the tuners are fetchable in the deck. Literally every single tuner you can grab. Um, Sometimes you need to be able to get blue eyes to your hand instead of the end phase of like a stone becoming a dragon later or whatever. So that's why we play the one white stone as fetchable. So it's good.
Okay.
We played the Gem Knights because we played Brilliant Fusion and Lazuli. Gem Knight, basically Brilliant Fusion in this deck turns into either a Silver Cry target, so like you can reborn your Blue Eyes, or it becomes a one card uh, Seraphonite because the Lazuli can grab back the vanilla, and Spirit of White is treated as vanilla engraved, and obviously Blue Eyes is vanilla. And then we have the three White Stone of Ancients, the best stone in the deck. Um, Becomes a dragon, Blue Eyes at the end of the turn that it goes to grave. If it goes to grave at the end of your opponent's turn, you can special Blue Eyes from your deck.
Mm.
And we have the Corseska, another tuner, fetchable with Ravine. Just another tuner that you can use with Carta Consonants and to make synchros with, and that's basically all it for that card. Guardian of the Order. Um, it just basically any of those special summon monsters that if you control two or more, if you control a certain attribute or whatever, it just allows you to make free rank 8 essentially. And sometimes you open fields where you have the ability to make an 8 and make your spirit from your extra deck. So that's a good thing. And it's trade in fodder. So like if it's dead, then you can just lose it, move on with your life. One Veiler is searchable with Sage. Um, Good versus Monarchs because that matchup is really weird for you, and same for cards like Tour Guide and Speedro Teratop, etc. Then we have the fabled Cat Sith, aka Catnip Kitty over there with a little ball. Um, this Catnip Kitty has effects where if it is discarded to the grave, you can pop a face effect card your opponent controls. That includes some random floodgate, even though it can't pop light imprisoning, but you know, whatever. It can pop monsters, it can pop uh, face up stellar traps, so that's pretty good. You can discard it with Ravine and Phoenix Wing. And then we move on to the spells. we have 18 monsters. We have Upstart, 40, 39 card deck, 1-for-1. You play a plethora of level 1, so terraforming the search the ravine. I think it's better to play a card that can search a card than play two of the same card. Three brilliant fusion. This turns basically your deck into usually if you open brilliant fusion, a sage and some reborn fodder for blue eyes, that equals Stardust Charge Warrior, the Stardust Charge Warrior and that blue eye spirit dragon. That might not seem as strong, but it gets better. It's like your hands have more cards in it. Like that's just a 3-card hand, so it's pretty strong. You get a free card basically with any tuner and brilliant fusion, so it's not bad. And then trade in many 8s, 2-card consonants, no more because you play only 5, and most of the time you need them to synchro. 2 dragon shrine. It's just another way to dump your dragons to the grave that you need to activate and stuff for Silver Scry. 3 and the Swing of Memories. Basically just another way to reborn, because you can't activate more than 1 Silver Cry a turn. So Swing of Memories just becomes another way to special summon your vanillas, and it dies your end phase, so you have to use it that turn, but it's usually fine anyways, because you can have a Silver Cry. Silver Cry you can also use on your opponent's turn, which is why you need to play another reborn card as well. Then Soul Charge, the best spell card in the deck. It makes it basically makes like the entire deck just do retarded things. And then the Phoenix Wings, so you have a way to play Yu-Gi-Oh against your opponent on their turn. I'll go to the extra. I don't know if you want me to do the side now or.
Oh, you can go to extra inside. That's fine.
One Seraphinite, 1 charge for the combo, 1 Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. You make this sometimes. Like it comes up enough where like it's definitely important to play. 1 Giga Castle is also important because add Spirit usually brings out the Azure from the extra deck. So when you have your Blue Eyes White Dragon and your tuner, you can only make another level 9, and usually you've already ran through a spirit and the other spirit is either on the field already or like that's about it. So you need another 9 that you can make, and this one is huge, so you can run over, it becomes 31, so you just run over anything basically in the game. And the fact that it's 31, and if you have a spirit, makes it where if you battle any ship, you can just kill any ship and then negate that ship, so it's pretty neat. And then you have the Moonlight. You can summon it off of the Spirit as well, and it bounces any special summon monster when it's on the field, or when it's special summoned or level 5 or higher. So, then we have the Spark Dragon. Same thing off of Spirit. That's basically where all half of these things come from. You can also just make it if you special Moonlight. Same for the Crystal Wing. You can special actually make a Stardust Spark or Crystal Wing by specialing Moonlight by tributing the Spirit and then summon a tuner.
Okay.
Which is also why the Gemnite fusion the Brilliant Fusion is important, because it gives you an additional summon. So you can Brilliant Fusion, have a Sage, summon the Sage, add a tuner, and then if you have Silver Cry, then that becomes anything basically, because you get an additional summon. So it's really good. Then the XYZ or Gimmick Grinder or Puppet Grinder I think that card is just amazing, so I like it. I like playing it. Felgrind, which is pretty much generic. Harbinger, pretty generic and good versus a lot of things. And then the Galaxy Eyes dudes. I don't really summon them that much, but they basically can just become some random OTK or kill anything in the game type of monster. So. And Banishing Dragon. Banishing cards from your opponent's deck is pretty neat. And then the side deck, we play the 4 Kaijus and the 2 Slumber because of Cosmos. That's your hardest matchup, and you can just tribute everything away. Drago, one of the best floodgate monsters in the game by far.
Always.
Summon it, just like you can just tribute the Kaiju away, summon a Drago. If they really end any deck ends poor, you can literally just summon this and it just becomes game. You can like do your entire combo, have Silver Cry, reborn all your stuff, make synchros and whatever, and then just slap this dude on the board. And there you go. You got your your floodgate monster. They can't really clear anything. And 1900 is huge. And we have Twin Twister, your regular flood, outs, and whatever else. And Universe for BA, and then Master Strict for Monarchs. Because the only decks you really should care about are Burn Abyss, PK Fire, Monarchs, and Cosmos, in my opinion.
Okay, with this current format here, how do you think this particular deck stacks up with all the other, tier 1 decks?
I think that it has really good applications versus like every deck game one. Besides maybe Monarchs, because Stormforth kind of just like ruins everything. Also, the Kaiju Burn Abyss deck is pretty weird because it makes it where your spirits have to be triggered in like their standby phase if you know that they have the Kaiju. Like if you know that they just like had the slumber and stuff. If they banish for the slumber, then like you have to tribute it away and summon something or whatever. And that's annoying. But other than that, 3000 defense is pretty much hard to clear. Spirit Dragon is really buffed versus Cosmos and Burn Abyss, where they can't use the highest, I guess, card in the chain link if whatever they activate. So, which is pretty neat. And then Azure basically becomes a protector that you can drop on your opponent's turn. And then you summon your vanilla back, which is usually Spirit, because he's treated as vanilla. And then you can banish the spell or trap, which is stupid. And if you have Blue Eyes in your hand, which is also why the stones are important and Blue Eyes is important, because you can Azure Special Spirit, banish a card, banish White Stone of Ancients, add Blue Eyes, and then attack with those. That's 5,000. And then special tribute the Spirit of White if they have another dragon. If they have a monster on their field, then you can tribute away. And that's like 3,000, 8,000 damage that they have to deal total, like on their side. They have to fight like monsters that are just giant. So pretty neat.
And I mean, this deck only gets better after Alternative comes out, if I'm not mistaken.
If this deck completely takes out another spin basically on the deck when Alternative comes out, it doesn't look necessarily like this, but pretty close, I would say. I would say that it looks similar.
Similar. Well, I do appreciate you getting on Skype with me here and doing this deck profile. I know a lot of people have been asking for it, and you want to come to me for it, so I really appreciate it. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give in regards to testing and anything else?
Testing. Oh, I give a shout-out to Nibo, NY3 on GN. He topped his Australian Nats with that crazy Beatrice 50-something card deck.
That was him?
Yes,
That's
that
really
was
cool.
him. So yeah, me and him have been testing Cosmos and this Blue Eyes deck almost like every day of the week, and we put a lot of work into building these post-shift decks that we've been working on. So I'd have to say shout out to him, shout out to everyone else that I've tested with, and shout out to Blair. He was testing with me, so cool.
Awesome. Well, Tweety, I do appreciate it once again. Hopefully, we'll have you back on our streams when we start doing the E-League a little more. We'll do a lot more of that with you as well. Hopefully, we'll be able to see you a lot more on the Zodiac stream. If you guys haven't checked out the Zodiac stream, I'll definitely have a link in the description below. Tweety is on it all the time with John Moore and Robbie Cole. So if you guys haven't checked that out, you've been living under a rock, definitely go check that out when they're live. But yeah, appreciate it again. This has been Kyle and Tweety with the Car Guys, and we will see you guys later.
Yep, no problem.